Thank you very much. What a bright day it is today, isn't it? It is my honor and my pleasure to share this podium with the two brightest minds. In fact, just last night, I read that apparently just about 16.5% of engineers are women. And can you take a guess? Who is a chemical engineer, who is a mechanical engineer, and who is a computer science engineer on this podium today? So to my...
All of you. Computer science is Diana.
There you go. So anyway, Diana is a mechanical engineer, and we have Alpa to my further right. She is a chemical engineer here. The second question, let's see if somebody gets this right. There's somebody who is really well known for her culinary skills, her culinary art, and there's someone else who is very good at tasting food. Who do you think it is? Any guesses?
Probably you.
So Alpa is a very well-known culinary artist, and anytime you actually go to the States, do ensure you visit her home. So at the final one...
Only known in my home, though. Not well known anywhere else.
And the final one, before we head to the journey onto the cloud, there is someone here who has gotten into as a lieutenant, and there's someone here who ensures that she spends a lot of her time, at least during her spare time, that's what she says, and competes at a national level, represents a national level as an athlete. Who do you think? That's Diana. Diana actually competes she represents the British, the entire country for that matter, and she competes during her spare time. And you can, of course, talk to her more about it. And yes, I have gotten into the Indian Navy as a lieutenant. So with that, and if no further ado, and to my right, as now you have known, this is Diana Kennedy, and to my further right is Alpa Patel. And Alpa, I am truly honored, both of you, and you again have made time all the way. She's flown in from the States to attend this event today. So having said that, Alpa Patel, as you know, she is a Group Chief Information Officer with AXA XL in particular. We all know that AXA, this question is to you, Alpa, we all know that AXA Group and AXA XL in particular has been leading the pack from an insurance industry standpoint in terms of embarking onto a cloud journey. So if you could just share with this audience in terms of what your journey has been like. Has it been transformational? Are there any industry dynamics which has impacted your journey?
Sure. So AXA's been on the cloud journey since 2017. AXA XL became part of AXA in late 2018. So we are the large commercial insurance division of AXA. And through the acquisition, we aligned the AXA XL cloud strategy to AXA's. And so what that really means is that we were a late joiner. We, in 2019 or so, embarked upon migrating our applications to the cloud. It was intended to be transformational. We wanted access to new business capabilities. We wanted to save money because we always want to save money. We wanted to transform our applications, and we wanted to modernize how we did software development. We've learned a lot in the journey. I think coming through the pandemic, we realized that we didn't know as much as we wanted to, and it was harder and harder for our teams, especially given the age and diversity of the application portfolio. So we found that we underestimated, we were overly optimistic, and we wanted to be so perfect. We were very idealistic. So I would say we had great ambition and still do around how much automation we put into supporting our developers in order to get not only the applications migrated, but to really be more efficient in how we manage those applications and how we do ongoing development in the cloud. We're much better at it now, but I think we've really learned that we really need to figure out how to migrate before we figure out how to be so perfect in our support and our processes. And maybe the last thing that's really impacting everyone is just demand for skills. We are really struggling. When you talked about, Jay, about hyperscalers and taking advantage of capabilities, you have to have the people that can take advantage of those capabilities. We're doing better and better. But I think managing that change curve, aligning it to business priorities, and making sure that our employees know how to do this has been one of our biggest challenges.
Wonderful, wonderful. So Diana, to you, we know that Bupa is relatively early in its journey to the cloud. Now, Diana being at the helm of, at a group level, right? And And we know that there are some of the geographies, some of your market units have already starting to create the landing zone as such. So what is your thinking in terms of how important is cloud as a transformational strategy for Bupa? How central is it? That's one. And second, how are you kind of driving this globally?
Great question, Hema. So, I mean, healthcare generally, is this working? Yeah. Healthcare generally, as I'm sure you know, is one of the last great industrial sectors to digitize, probably a decade behind financial services that we heard about earlier, and certainly 5 years behind oil and gas, where I came from when I joined Bupa just a year ago. And we as a company operate 50 plus businesses across 22 countries. On aggregate, we're 43% in the cloud, which is just below your industry benchmark, Jay. We'll get there in the next few months, hopefully. But, I mean, it could not be more central. So everything that we heard about just now, about that elasticity, about that auto scale, about agility, about R&D investment from those hyperscalers, all of that is fundamentally critical to our sector and our business. And why is that? Well, healthcare's gone digital. We saw that so acutely during COVID-19 and the acceleration of that. And not only is healthcare now digital and how we interact with our healthcare services through video consultation, we would never have imagined we would be doing that even a year ago, would we? And that'd be normal. But our ability to use digital services to improve those healthcare outcomes is now entirely reliant on our data, and that the accessibility of that can only be made possible in the cloud. So we as a company have a audacious ambition to become the most digital healthcare company in the world by becoming the most customer-centric healthcare company in the world, and that is fundamentally underpinned by cloud. We have a dual cloud strategy, as most of you do, I'm sure. Three reasons for that. Firstly, frankly, commercial leverage. We all know that if we've only got one route to market, then you don't get the best price, period. Secondly, to give us multiple routes to the cloud. And although skills, of course, is a huge challenge for all of us, having the ability to make choices around where we place our workloads, in our case, to Microsoft Azure or Google Cloud Platform, gives us that little bit of extra flexibility, particularly when we're dealing across multiple geographies, where, for example, in our Brazilian business, GCP is our preferred cloud. In the UK, it's Microsoft Azure. And then thirdly, again, as was said earlier, investment. So I don't know this for a fact, but almost certainly 90% of R&D investment in the health tech is born in the cloud. And if you're not there, then you can't get access to that. And everything that we're doing as a company is all about creating incredible healthcare outcomes, hyper-personalized, cloud-native, digital outcomes for customers to genuinely save lives. So cloud is right front and center of that.
Good luck, Diana. She's at the helm of a very interesting journey, I must say, and I'm sure you'll beat Jay at some point in time. So that said, I think we have all had similar journeys, right? Both organizations, whether it is AXA XL or whether it is Bupa, there are so many dynamics that come into play. One, you have complex organizations, geographically distributed, you have power centers, you have a number of stakeholders. Number two, you do have these early disruptors. You have the insurtechs and fintechs who come with all kind of innovative models who are very agile in nature. And number three, you do have these large service providers, you do have hyperscalers. So my question is to both of you. One, how do you think the large participants, the incumbents, the hyperscalers, what are your observations in terms of the innovations that they're doing so that they can kind of give a fight to this nimble insurtechs, I must say? And a follow-on question to that is, how does the ecosystem really come together to kind of cater to this diverse cloud niche skills that is required, the talent gap that is required? And I'm already been given the time, but a follow-on question, which I think probably the audience will definitely have, will have a great takeaways is, both of you are the captains of your respective boards, right? What is your guidance to this audience, to your peers in the industry, in terms of the leadership skills that one needs to have? Because adoption and acceleration of cloud has a direct correlation to organization change management.
Hema, that was like 7 questions, so we'll see if we can find a way to answer 1 or 2 of them. So I'll start with some leadership characteristics. You have to be courageous and you have to be resilient. The journey is really hard. I think all of you know that. There's all kinds of ways to feel defeated, but you have to believe in the outcome and you have to believe in incremental benefits along the way. And it's not just about saving money, but it's about developing talent for the future. It's about attracting talent to your organization. It's about creating that business capability. If we talk about ecosystem and bringing together innovations, AXA has done a lot of work around digital health platform, digital commercial platform, which we just launched. And this is really about bringing together data and analytics with what we think we have in terms of insurance industry expertise. So we're trying to take small innovations, but combine them together so that we have an offering that customers will find to be truly unique and innovative. I don't think that within Excel, at least, we've been successful at large-scale innovation. So what we're really trying to do is take our expertise with smaller things, and by combining that together with a targeted industry group, we think we can create something important and valuable to offer.
Wonderful. Diana?
Goodness, yes. I'm just building on the leadership point. I would agree with all of that, but add simply, if you're going to win in this market, in this responsive, high-octane, disrupting world that we live in right now, you have to empower people to be successful. You have to create environments where the best brains can work together to deliver value, and that comes from a certain style of leadership where the world has moved from this command and control, autocratic style leadership, which perhaps we recognise in some other parts of our of our daily lives, to one of empowerment and where the best people want to work. So that's the first thing, and that takes a lot of humility, actually, and courage was the word I think you used. So that's the first point. Second, on an innovation, I guess it's more acute in my sector than perhaps any, I'd say. And I think you make a really important point, Hema, with this term ecosystem. I think if organisations believe that they can win on their own as an integrated conglomerate, they will fail. This world of cloud and agility and disruption and business transformation is all about ecosystem. It's all about working together with partners, and so therefore the things that we as IT leaders care about most are selecting those partners purposefully, selecting those organisations that you want to work with together and win together and learn together. And then secondly, finally, your point about R&D. Where is digital and tech R&D today? Predominantly with the hyperscalers, with Microsoft, with Amazon and Google. So if you're not working with those guys to get access to that, you'll lose.
Wonderful. A lot of great insights. I sure have gained a lot, and I continue to gain a lot from you. Thank you so much for being an inspiration. Alpa, thank you, and Diana, thank you very much. I'm sure the panelists are going to be there throughout the day, and thank you again.